Shabbat Shalom, okay. As always, we'll start with Colossians 3 and 17. Colossians 3 and 17. Giving all praise and glory to the Most High power, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You brothers and sisters know how to say his name in Hebrew? Colossians 3 and 17, you should learn how to say his name in Hebrew. They say this is his name forever, memorial to all generations. It's important that you, as you pray with us, you learn how to say his name in Hebrew. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And it's very important, I want to say that because when he says in Exodus 3, 15, and 16, how do you include the Most High being the power of someone else when he says he's the power of Abraham, who had a son named Isaac, who had a son named Jacob, and Jacob became the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel? You can't include anybody else in that unless they're part of the 12 tribes of Israel. And see, that's where you see that's not being really pushed a lot, because you can make him be the power of everybody if you just say, give him a name. Everybody can call on his name, that one name that they call upon. But when you call upon the power of Abraham, who had a son named Isaac, he also had a son named Ishmael. But he chose Isaac. And Isaac had a son by the name of Jacob. But he also had a son by the name of Esau. But he Most High chose Jacob. He said he made the whole world for our sakes, for the 12 tribes of Israel's sake. That's even before we was a nation as the 12 tribes of Israel. He already knew what he was doing. We just don't know what he was doing. You see? So now here, from the present to the future, because you can't do anything about the past is an experience. The past is something to give us understanding, but it's still the past. To give us edification of how not to make the same mistakes as our forefathers done, of the past. But look at the things that were righteous, that pleased the Most High, and do those things. So how do you include all these other nations when he say clearly he's the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Even the Mashiach Yahushua identified him as such in Matthew 22:32. Acts 3:13, the power of our Father. And that's who these New Testament scriptures is addressed to. So how do you include everybody else and say you can be your power, when everybody else mainly is taught that we don't have to follow him? And can't nobody deny it. I'm looking for somebody to say I don't know what I'm talking about. When they tell you that you're not under the law, but you're under mercy and grace. They're the Most High's laws. They're his law. Just like this, his Sabbath. But people say, hey, you ain't got to follow him, because they're saying you're not under the law. So that's what they say, you're not under his rules and regulations. You have to follow him. And that's what they're doing. Sad to say, but it's real. So Colossians 3:17. No, you can't gainsay on that. Listen. And whatsoever you do in word, whatever you say or deed, whatever you do in action, do all by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua, in the name of the Lord and Savior. Whatever you say, whatever you do, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father, by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. So that's what we're going to do. Everything we say, everything we do is going to the throne of the Most High in the name of the anointed Savior. And we give thanks to the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For everything, because he's worthy to be praised for everything. So let's continue with our conquest when we had joy in Israel. Because we didn't always have it. It was times when we had joy. We had gladness, like the time of the new moon is a time of gladness. And the Most High ordained that during the time that Joseph was in Egypt. So we knew about the new moons. The first day of the month, we had a feast. Every first day of the month. We knew about this. This is something that we knew about. It's not something new, it's something new to a lot of you now because you just being brought out of the darkness into the light. I bet you everybody know what the next holiday of Esau is. Automatically. And that's how you need to know about, bam, the new moon. When is the first day of the month? You're supposed to know automatically the next holy day, holy convocation that the Most High says we're supposed to have. You're supposed to have. You're supposed to be in knowledge of. If you don't know, you can go to shieldofwisdom.com. On the front page, go to breaking news. At the bottom of the front page in the right-hand corner, press that. It'll tell you everything that you need to know. So you know these dates, when they are, and you can honor them. No matter where you are, you will know that they are the holy convocations of the Most High that we're supposed to honor. Just like you knew about Christmas, you knew about Easter, you knew about the 4th of July, you knew automatically those days. Thanksgiving, when you're going to sit there and eat in commemoration of murder and slaughter and pillage and rape of our people. Then you know about them days. So we have days that we remember for the victory that we received as a people. That brought joy and gladness to us. When you know about those days, the average person don't have a clue and they could care less. But Esau give you a day off on the plantation. That's all it is. That's all it is. Before you get your money, they take their money off the top. They got their money before you even think about getting anything. They give you a check, you gotta go somewhere and cash it. But they got their money already. You don't work for them. They just took their money off the top. What they want to give you, period. To make sure that they got all this money here and they give you a little bit of salary. So you look at it. No matter how much money they give NBA players, NFL players, soccer players, whoever, NHL, all of them, even the entertainers. The ones that's giving them that check, think about how much money they have. It was a movie I seen where I think it was Blair Underwood. He had an idea to have all the different rap artists that was signed under these artists to come together and make one big company, one big corporation that would put Esau out of business, man. He had all kind of problems. It showed you all the problems that he had in trying to do that, just bringing us together. You know, everybody was known, so you're gonna bring your art, your artistic value to one big company. They still do what they do, but they bring all that to one company. Man, they showed that movie, man. Esau was going off, said, man, you making me $400 million. I don't think I want to lose that. He was ready to kill him. Straight up. Cass was like, man, I can't do it. They had, he was coming to their house. Had his woman, his wife, children, all of that. Behind what? The monies as you as a slave is making for them. That's why the only way you really gonna be successful is entrepreneurship. They don't teach you that. Having your own business. And some of you that have had your own business, you know how that felt. When you're making your own money. And you're looking at what you're gonna deal with, what you're gonna give to the IRS, Internal Revenue Service. You still gonna have to give something, because you come to a certain level, they coming after you. They know you making money, they coming after you. That's real. They put you in jail, that's right. If you ain't paying what you're supposed to pay, the restitution you're supposed to pay. But all they don't understand, we gonna be the new IRS. Forever and ever and ever. Israelites receiving services. Forever and ever and ever. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yes. So that's a good part of what we can look at to be joyful and work toward that so that we'll have the opportunity to be able to have that. To have that. And we do have that opportunity. Most High gave us this opportunity. Coming back to Him, being obedient to Him. And not feeling that you don't have to follow His rules and regulations. How you gonna put you in a kingdom that He's gonna be over, ruling in righteousness, and you're gonna be still doing whatever you want to do in wickedness? It doesn't make sense. It don't make no sense. So let's go to the book of Esther. We're gonna look at some times when we had joy. Still, you gotta look at the time we had gladness. So there was a time, Esther was chosen as an Israelite. Her uncle raised her, Mordecai, and she was chosen as an Israelite to be under King Ahasuerus, to be his queen. Since Vashti, his queen, he said, "Come here, come to me." He wanted to show her off in front of everyone, and she didn't come, so he got rid of her. That's just even another nation, even other nations was about, hey, the woman gonna submit to the man. Now the Most High put that decree out in Genesis 3:16. A lot of you women, y'all better come into the grips of the commandment, the order, the obedience that the Most High put out from what Eve did. So even they were like, hey man, you get rid of her, man, all the women in the kingdom gonna follow her example. That's why I say, everybody gonna be just like you. If everybody be just like you, then how will everyone be? You gotta think about it. So that's what they said. So he got rid of her, cast her off from being the queen. That's the highest position a woman could have in the kingdom. And this cat is over every nation. He over everyone. Superpower of earth. And he chose Esther, a beautiful sister, a beautiful Israelite sister. He chose her. And so, this Edomite Haman plotted to have us killed. And Esther risked her life to go before the king, because the king could have the scepter up or he could put the scepter down. And she risked her life for the nation of Israel. We, the 12 tribes of Israel. She risked her life for us. Not to allow him to put us to death. A day we can put us to death. Listen. So when she went in to the king had the scepter up instead of down. Because he put the scepter down, she'd have been put to death, and she risked her life for us. For the nation, not just for her as an individual, but for all of us. So listen. Esther 8. And you look at how also they called the days. They identified the days. Esther 8 and 7, let's start there. Say, then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther the queen, and to Mordecai the Jew, behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hanged upon the gallows, because he laid his hand upon the Jews. See? This Edomite, Haman. He said, I hung him and his sons on the gallows. Write ye also for the Jews, as it liketh you, in the king's name. In the king's name. And seal it with the king's ring. That's how they did. You know, you have a signal that America have now. You know, the republics have it, everyone that has it. That's sealed. For the writing which is written in the king's name and sealed with the king's ring made no man reverse. See, once you put that seal on it, that's why they have you. Put that seal on it, it's solid. Then were the king's scribes called at that time in the 3rd month, that is, the month Sivan, on the 23rd day thereof. That's the 23rd day. This is what we did. And it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews, and to the lieutenants, and to the deputies, and rulers of the provinces which are from India unto Ethiopia, and 127 provinces. 127 provinces. Unto every province according to the writing thereof, and unto every people after their language. Because see, different people have different languages. And he wrote it to the people in their language, this decree. And to the Jews according to their writing. See? He wrote it to the Jews according to Hebrew. Look in the room in that bag. According to their writings and according to their language. See? How we wrote and how we spoke. And he wrote in the king Ahasuerus' name and sealed it with the king's ring and sent letters by post on horseback and riders on mules, camels, and young dromedaries, wherein the king granted the Jews, which were in every city, to gather themselves together and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people and province that would assault them, both little ones and women, both little children and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey, rob them. Esther, the 8th chapter, the 12th verse. Upon one day in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, he had 127 provinces, mind you, namely upon the 13th day of the 12th month. See? See how it comes back to the 13th day, the 12th month, like we're in the 8th month now, on the Sabbath day. You see how they say upon the 13th day of the 12th month. So we're coming back to, why not? It's written in the Bible, you see what I'm saying? Well, we can use this as an example for righteousness, which is the month of Adar. We had different names for our months. And it wasn't named after gods. It wasn't named after idols. After idols. The copy of the writing for commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, and that the Jews should be ready against that day to avenge themselves on their enemies. See, they're going to come against us, but we're supposed to be ready to avenge ourselves on our enemies. So the post that rode upon mules and camels went out, being hasted and pressed on by the king's commandment, and the decree was given at Shushan the palace. Listen, verse 15. And Mordecai went out, this is Esther's uncle, who raised Esther. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen and purple. And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. Where was that? This one was happy. Okay. Yeah, we rejoiced and was glad, because remember, he was getting ready to take us down. They was going to kill us. Okay. And we was there, he said, hey, you got the power to avenge against your enemies.